Very good. Almost 16, 17 hands are coming up. Very good. Now tell me, how many of you will start from today or from tomorrow? Now those raised, those who are not yet started, those who are doing separate, those who started from yesterday are also okay. Now those who are not yet started are promising me that they will start from today or tomorrow. Yes, that is also almost 15 hands raised. Very good. So it is almost 20% are already doing. Another 20% have started since yesterday, and about 50% have raised their hand that they will start from today or tomorrow. That's very good. Okay. Now let us recap the last chapter. What we have learned in the last chapter? Can anybody tell me? He can put in the chat box also. I'm talking about last chapter. Chapter 3, that is, yesterday. Karma Yoga is the name of the chapter, yes. But what are the contents of the chapter? Yes, this is the correct answer. 3 modes of nature. About bondage, Prabhuji also, that is also correct answer. 3 gunas also, that is also good. About the false ego, that is also right. We should do sacrifice for Vishnu, that is also right. 3 modes of nature. Sacrifice in 4 yogas also right. False ego also right. Very good. 4 yuga also right. Yes, very good. Now I think we should take the prayer again also, because the first, when Samyukta Mataji took the prayer, that was not in the proper manner. Somebody has pointed out that also. So can we take the prayer again, Chetan Prabhuji?
Prabhuji, I will unmute.
Yes. Now who will take the prayer? Yogesh Prabhuji, can you take the prayer again? Can you hear me, Yogesh Prabhuji? Yes, okay. Then please go ahead. Chetan Prabhuji, please unmute Yogesh Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I'm just searching.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namah Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे.
Thank you, Yogesh Prabhuji. Very nicely taken. So can we chant 5 rounds of mantra also again to start with that? With all, Chetan Prabhuji, can you unmute all so that we will chant the mantra first 5 times?
Okay, Prabhuji, I will allow them to unmute themselves, Prabhuji. Okay. Now they can unmute themselves, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Hare
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, everyone. So let me first congratulate to all of you that those who are already chanting the mantra and doing at least 1 or 2 or 3 mala, big congratulations to all of you. And those who have already started chanting the mantra and doing 1 mala from yesterday or from today. And also congratulations and all the best wishes for those also who will start from today or tomorrow chanting mantra and the japamala at least 1 round. But don't forget your promise. Keep on continuing the good effort. So all of you must have rightly said that in the last chapter, we learned 3 important things. The first one is the 3 modes of the material nature, then our false ego and the bondage. So shall we go ahead with that, or anyone has any clarification or any doubts about that? I will take 1 or 2 questions on that only from the previous chapter. Then we'll move forward to the next chapter. Because today's chapter is also very important. Only 2 questions. Yes, tell me.
Doubt
Yes, tell me.
that if we take the next birth, so can I remember the previous birth's history or not?
No, not at all. You cannot remember your previous birth. One last question.
Of the material.
hello.
Yes, tell me.
Um,
One
Sir, I was not able to understand the first sloka, sir, in third chapter.
of 3rd chapter.
Yeah.
First sloka of the 3rd chapter. Okay. Let me open that now. This is the last question I'm taking. This was our first sloka. That means the work is to be done as a sacrifice for Vishnu. There will be no bondage. Am I right? So you want to understand this again?
Yes, Prabhuji.
What
Okay.
is the meaning of ego?
Ego is also yesterday explained, but let me first clear this question because this is the last question I'm taking before starting the new chapter. I will explain you in shortly. The whatever work we done is to be done as a sacrifice for the Vishnu. I think I will cover your question, that is the ego, in this question, in this explaining this also. Whenever we are performing any work, we have the ego that, okay, I am doing that, I am performing this, I am getting this, I am achieving this. So this I is called the false ego, that is within us. So this is your question, is what is answered, that I is the false ego within us. Now when we perform the work without ignoring I, without ignoring me, and do the work or the performance of any activity, we just sacrifice to the Lord Vishnu or the Lord Krishna that I am doing that activity with the consent of you, with the blessing of you, and for you only, and for the benefit of the human society. then that particular I feeling goes away slowly, gradually, and everything whatever we perform is performed as a sacrifice to the Lord Vishnu for him only. This is the meaning of the first line. Work is to be done as a sacrifice for Vishnu without ignoring the I factor, that is the ego. Okay. Then as a result of such activity, that is the activity which is dedicated, devoted, and with the surrender, feeling of sacrifice or surrender to the Lord Vishnu, then what will be the result? The result will be there will be no bondage. Bondage, I explained very clearly that we are passing through the cycle of birth and death in this death world. This is called the death world. So we have to take the birth, we have to take all the pain, trouble of the study, working hard, then earning money, then again growing, then we become old, we suffer some diseases, and ultimately when we die, whatever we have done in our life, we are not taking any money with us, any clothing with us, any material things with us. We just came here empty-handed, and we have to go empty-handed. So that is also the bondage. Because what we are doing everything, and what we are getting at the end, we are not getting anything. So it is a bondage for us actually. So again, suppose he's doing all these activities with the same interest and everything, with the I factor and ego factor, then again he takes the rebirth also, then this cycle goes on. But when he is doing the activities with a surrender to the Lord Vishnu or the Lord Krishna, ignoring the I factor or the without any false ego, then he is liberated from this bondage, and he is said to have achieved the attainment, that is a realization of the God. The realization of the God is in three forms: in the form of light, in the form of Vishnu, and in the human form. So this is the meaning of this first shloka. I hope I am clear. So now let us start the chapter 4, today's chapter. The chapter 4, that is the Gyan Yoga. Or it is called the yoga of knowledge. So what knowledge we are getting here? All of you are studying, so different knowledge you are getting from different subjects, books, and everything. So from the Bhagavad Gita, what knowledge we will get? Let us see. First, let me tell you the history of the Bhagavad Gita, that how is this knowledge is being imparted and how ancient is this knowledge. So who will read this, the first shloka? I think Arun Prabhuji raised the hand. So please unmute Arun Prabhuji. Arun Prabhuji, you are unmuted. Please read the first shloka.
Shri Bhagavan Urvacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavam Aham Avyayam Vivaswan Manave Praha Manur Ischakave Bravit. The blessed Lord said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivaswan, and Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ishvaku.
Ikshvaku. Okay.
Ishvaku.
Thank you, Arun Prabhuji. Now, let us take it word by word. The blessed Lord said, the blessed Lord means Lord Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science. This is the chapter named is Yoga, yani Gyan Yoga, science, yoga of knowledge, yoga of science actually, otherwise. Why this it is called imperishable science? What is the meaning of imperishable? Imperishable means that which cannot be destroyed, that which cannot perish. That means with the time also, it is a time tested, it is place tested, everything it is tested. It is imperishable science. Nowadays, what we call the science, we call that science is advancing, science making the progress. So that means our present science has not made all the progress. It is still progressing, it is still advancing. And this our science is also perishable science. How it is perishable science, I'm telling you. Suppose you have bought one laptop or a computer with desktop. Now, whatever the model you have purchased, that is different thing. But with the technology, that is a software inside that comes, it is sometimes called I believe that when I first saw the computer in the year 1994, that is about 27 years back, it was called a 286. Then came 486. Then the different generations of the computers and their laptops started. So it is still progressing and advancing. Similarly, in the case of the mobile also, when we used to use the mobile with the buttons actually. So after that, the technology progressed with what nowadays it is a touch screen mobile has come. So the science is advancing, science is progressing. It has not progressed even as on today to the highest level. And the whatever the new progress has been comes, the old science goes away. That means, can you see nowadays anyone who is using the mobile phone with the switch, with the buttons? Because all are Android phones, all are touch screen phones. So that particular phone with the buttons have become obsolete. It has imperished, totally perished actually. Nobody can see that. So that is why it is this Bhagavad Gita science is called an imperishable science. It is so permanent that it is coming out from the ancient times, and even as on today also, it is still working. It is still with our life. It is still guiding us. It is still helping us to come out of the problems or the difficult situations. So that is why it is called an imperishable science. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god. That means about more than 120, 130 million years of ago, this particular science was called told to sun god. That means Surya Devata. So sun god, that is the Vivaswan also, other name. And the Vivaswan instructed it to Manu. Then Vivaswan imparted that particular imperishable science to his disciple Manu, the father of mankind. Who was Manu? The father of mankind. That means it is believed that in say like Christian religion, it is believed that this humankind, mankind nature started from Adam and Eve. So similarly, in our ancient civilization and ancient culture, or we call it a Sanatan Dharma also, this mankind started from the Manu. Manu was the first person with whom this all society of the mankind has started. And Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. Who is Ikshvaku? Ikshvaku was a disciple of the Manu. So in this traditional manner, this particular science, what is that science? That is an imperishable science. That is science which is still alive, and it has already progressed, and it is a matured science. It is not, it is the advancing or progressing science. It is already matured science, in imperishable science, in the practical science, in everywhere. So this is the thing that how the Bhagavad Gita came into place. So this is the history of the Bhagavad Gita. So how this Bhagavad Gita, who will read this sloka? Okay, Virat Vardhan Kumar. I'm asking you to unmute you. Okay, you are unmuted. So please go ahead, Virat Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, someone send me an invitation to unmute.
Okay, so you are Sarvari or no? I'm asking the Virat Prabhuji to read this law. He has raised his hand. Okay, Sarvari Mataji, you can also go ahead.
Prabhuji?
Pardon?
Prabhuji, I have unmuted Virat Vardhan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Can you read Virat Vardhan, Prabhu?
Sloka, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, Prabhuji. Evam parampara praptam nimam rajarsayo viduh sakalene mahata yogo nastaf parantapa. The supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession
and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it appears to be lost.
Yes. Thank you, Virat Prabhuji. Now the supreme science. What is the supreme science? That is the imperishable science, which we learned in the last sloka. Thus received by the succession of the through the chain of disciplic succession. That means from the Lord Krishna, it was told to sun god told to Manu told to Ikshvaku. So this is called a disciplic succession because it is coming from the direct source. In the very first chapter, we have learned that we should take the learning from the direct source as it is. And what after that, what happened? And the saintly kings understood it in that way. So this at that point of time, there was a ruler of the kings. So all these kings were called a saintly king because they were also good at heart. Because some Satyuga was running on that point of time. So they were all good at heart and they all understood in that way only. They all took it in the positive sense and the positive manner and tried to implement those principles of that knowledge into their kingdom also, among the people also, doing good for the people also. In this way, it was going on. But in the course of time, that means from say generation to generation, from year after year, what happened actually? The succession was broken. That means the person who has the real knowledge has stopped imparting the knowledge, or there was no such disciple or the student who is getting that particular knowledge from that actual person who has the knowledge of such thing. So that particular chain has broken. And therefore the science as it appears to be lost. It has not become imperished. It is actually the lost means what is the meaning of the lost over here? You cannot sense it that is the imperished because the Bhagavad Gita knowledge is the imperishable science. That particular appears to be lost means what happens? Suppose today I'm just switching off my screen. So I'm not visible to all of you. But suppose if I switch on the screen and put my video on, then I'm visible to you. And if I just switch off the video, then I'm not visible to you. So, but my existence is not lost. My existence is already there. But I'm not giving appearance to you by switching on my video. So this is the reason. This is the reason how what happened that particular this science was actually it was there but lost because of the breaking of the chain, because there was no proper teacher who started imparting this knowledge, and there was no proper student also who was started getting this knowledge. So in this way, by breaking of the chain, this particular knowledge is getting lost. So are you getting all this? Have you understood all this? Please raise your hand, or in the chat box you can put it yes also. Very good. So whenever you have doubt, you can put your question in the chat box. Chetan Prabhuji will take care at the end of the session when we'll take the question answer session. Or you can raise your hand also at that point of time. So now it is very well clear that Bhagavad Gita knowledge is an imperishable knowledge. It got transpired from one teacher to the student, and in the course of the time it got lost actually because there was no proper teacher or the proper student also to get this knowledge. The same thing is explained here in disciplic succession. So that is why he is a Prabhupada, the founder of the ISKCON, Acharya Prabhupada. So what happened is that is why the ISKCON Bhagavad Gita is called as it is, because this knowledge is also received directly from the teacher to the student. Okay, somebody is asking, can you again the first sloka? Okay, we'll take it later at the end now. Let me continue with the flow now, otherwise people get distracted. So what I was telling that ISKCON Bhagavad Gita is called as it is Bhagavad Gita because in the very first chapter we also seen that it is coming from the original source. That is, the Prabhupada is also one of the authorized student, who authorized teacher who first got this knowledge and then imparted that knowledge. That is why it is so called Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is also the chain, although the names are not readable to me also, so that I cannot read that. But let us go with the immediate which is appearance. Lord Krishna imparted all this knowledge to Lord Brahma, Lord Lakshmiji, Lord Shiva, 4 Kumars, and these people have imparted this knowledge to Madhavacharya, Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbaracharya, to all. And these people also, that means the Guru Parampara continued with the ISKCON also. Although the names are not appear and I do not know the names also actually properly. I'm sorry for that. Otherwise, I would have read out all the names and told you the traditions also, that how this is knowledge parampara, what we call the teacher and student disciple, is come into the existence in the form of the ISKCON. When the Lord Krishna said this knowledge was first imparted to sun god, then Manu, and then Ikshvaku. Then immediate question came in the mind of the Arjun, that how it can be, but how this happened. We both were both in the Dwapar Yuga. Arjun's question immediately came because the reason that Lord Krishna was himself is the friend of Arjuna. And Arjuna was also the friend as well as devotee of Lord Krishna, and they have played together at one point of time. So Arjuna was very much surprised that how it can be that you have told this knowledge to sun, because the sun is more than 120 million years ahead. How can you were there at that point of time? Because you are my friend. You and I were born together at a particular point of time, that is in Dwapar Yuga. So how it is possible that you have told? Because he was laughing, just like the humorous sense. He was laughing. I'm very much surprised how it can be. So the Lord Krishna answers to this question. Lord Krishna says Krishna is eternal, unborn. That means Govindam Adi Purusham. That means Lord Krishna, he is coming from the time immemorial, time very ancient times, and he is unborn actually. You will get a better explanation in some of the next slides also. That also I will tell you. You see, when does Krishna appear? Who will read this slok? This slok is one of the most very famous slok of the Bhagavad Gita. Even those who have not read any Bhagavad Gita will remember this slok because it is widely spoken.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Vaishnavi, she is
Yeah.
intending to read.
Yeah, please.
Prabhuji, can I?
Please, Amita. Please, Vaishnavi Mataji, go ahead.
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. So this is a very popular slok of the Bhagavad Gita, and the meaning of that is whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice. So this answer is given by the Lord Krishna when the Arjuna asked that how it can be possible that we and I and you both were born in the same Dwapar Yuga, then you have told it to the sun god, then Manu, and then Ikshvaku. Then the Lord Krishna replies that whenever there is a decline in the religious practice, so there becomes more of in religion and then the religious practice, or religious practice have become very down. People are ignoring that religious practices. People are not believing in those religious practices. So it is a totally collapsed condition. Descendant of Bharata. That means Arjun's other name. That means a descendant of the Bharat Vansh. and the predominant rise of the irreligion. That means irreligion has gone to such a great extent that everybody has become very ignorant, everybody has become very jealousy, everybody very envious also. They are not doing good for the people. So this is all called irreligion. Even the women are not being taken care of, they are also being ill-treated, animals are being killed. So this is all because gives rise of a irreligion practices. These are all called, that which is opposed to the religion is called irreligion. At that time, I discerned myself. So when the God comes down on this earth, that means a point when there is a too much increase of the irreligion practices and there is a total decline or the collapse of the religious condition, then the Lord Krishna comes down on this earth. So the Lord Krishna said that I have come down on this earth to impart this knowledge to you. In response to the Arjuna's question that how it can be possible that we are in the same Dwapar Yuga, born in this Dwapar Yuga. So now how does the Krishna appear? Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all sentient things, I still appear in every millennium. That means yuge yuge, in my original transcendental form. So you can see the different forms over here of the Lord Krishna. You can see the Vishnu avatar over here with the Gada and all, Kamal and Sankh in his hands. Then you can see the Ram avatar with the Dhanush in his hand. So the Vishnu avatar came as an incarnation of the Lord Krishna. Then the Ram Bhagwan came here as in the form of Rama. Then the Krishna avatar of the Lord Krishna. Krishna came here about 5,000 years back. And after that, even some I told you in the earlier chapters also that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about 500 years back on this earth to spread the message of the Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Lord Krishna spreaded this mantra among the people. So these are all incarnations of the God, Bhagwan. So in this way, the God says that although I am unborn, that means God is unborn. He is born. Unborn means that I cannot say that born is millions and millions years ago because it is unborn. It is a natural thing. Something is there. And my transcendental body never deteriorates. That means his body is never deteriorated. That means never becomes sick or old or never dies particular. So it becomes never deteriorates. And although I am the Lord of all sentient beings, that means he is the Lord or the honor of all things in this universe. I still disappear in every millennium. He again comes every millennium, that means in every yuga, he takes the birth in the form of the human form and in my original transcendental form. This is the original transcendental form in various different kinds in different millennium or the different ages. So is this clear that how the God appears in this earth? Please raise your hands if it is clear. You can put in chat box also, yes or no. Okay, thank you. If any questions, we'll take at the end. Sorry. So why does Krishna appear? Now, who will read this?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Please, Mataji, go ahead.
Parantirayana
Paritrana.
Sadhumam Vinasaya Patistaram Da Dharma Samha Samkhat Sakaraya Samabhavami Yu
Paritranaya Sadhunam. Thank you, Mataji. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. You can see here, I can explain from the next slide. So, why the God appears on this earth? In order to protect my devotees. What the Lord Krishna was doing to the Arjuna, he is giving the protection to the Arjuna in the war. So, to protect the devotee, Arjuna was a devotee of the Lord Krishna. So, I'm just giving an example for each and everything. And to destroy the demons. In the previous slide, what he is doing? He has killed Kans. Although he was his relative, he was his mama, but even then he was at that point of time demonic person. So the Lord Krishna killed Kans. So to destroy the demons as well as to re-establish dharma. So what happened after the battle of the Mahabharata? Dharma was re-established. Yudhishthira became the king, and all things went very well. Everything restored. All the religious practices were restored to the original place. So these are the three reasons that Lord Krishna come on this earth from millennium to millennium, or from, you can say, from yuga after yuga, in the different forms. To protect the devotee, to destroy the demons, and to re-establish the dharma. This is a picture of how the Lord Krishna born on this earth in the jail. With you can see his parents Vasudev and the Devaki is here, and this is the Lord Krishna took the birth in the human form. So again, I think that is I've already explained the appearance of the Krishna, that why the Lord Krishna came on this earth. What are the three reasons why Krishna appeared? To protect his devotees. I gave you the example of Arjuna and Krishna for the battle of Mahabharata, to destroy the demons, that is he killed Kansa, and to establish the dharma. That means how the Yudhishthira became the king with all the religious practice being restored on this earth in his kingdom also. Now, what is the benefit of knowing Krishna? Who will raise this? I think Leela Rani has raised, Leela Rani Menon has raised this, and please, I'm asking to unmute. Okay, you are unmuted, Leela Rani Mataji. Please read this. Can you hear? Leela Rani Mataji? Or who else will read? Yes, Sanjana Lokesh.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, please go ahead, Mataji.
जन्म कर्म च वेदिव्यम् एवं यो विधि तत्त्वः यथा देहान्तर पुनर्जन्म. Only that much.
Thank you, Mataji.
I have unmuted now.
Okay, next time you will read.
Okay.
Now the Arjuna asks that what is the benefit of knowing you? So in that question, the Lord Krishna replies that one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not upon leaving the body take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. That means one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance. In the time of the Lord Krishna, who were knowing that this particular Lord Krishna, he himself is a god? Bhishma knew that, Arjuna knew that, all Pandavas, including Yudhishthira, knew that this is the incarnation of the god. And that is why they used to worship that particular person, Lord Krishna, and became a devotee of Lord Krishna. On the other hand, who do not know, that is the Duryodhan, you do not know that he is Lord Krishna. He sometimes abuses him also, using the bad language also, insulted him also, because he was ignorant. He doesn't knew about the Lord Krishna. So they never knew about the appearance and the activities, whereas the other persons like Bhishma, Dronacharya, Krupacharya, Pandavas, all knew the appearance and activities of the Lord Krishna. So upon leaving this body, that means when such person who knows the Lord Krishna and who knows their activities, when they live, when they die, they take his birth again in this material. They do not take this birth in this material. That means they got the mukti or the moksha. In some of the earlier classes, somebody asked what is the moksha or the mukti. So here it lies the one of the ways to obtain the moksha or the mukti from this death world, to know the God, to know their activities. So if you know the God and we know the activities, we are definitely get relief from this, not getting the birth again into this death world. We are getting liberation from this death world, but attains my eternal abode. What is the eternal abode? That is the Krishna lok or the Vaikuntha lok is called the eternal abode. That means that particular body when it dies, that particular soul resides back to the eternal abode and merges with the Lord Krishna. It never comes back on this earth. This is the death world. It is a bondage. In earlier classes also what we learned. So this is actually the true knowledge. This is the essence of the particular this chapter. That by knowledge yoga, that is the Vigyan yoga or Gyan yoga, we should know the God actually. What is the knowledge? To know about the God, to know about the essence. That means who are we? Why we have come on this earth? What is our life objective? What we are going to do? The ultimate truth is that we should know the God. But the very few people spend that time in knowing about the God actually. They're just getting carried away by all this material nature, doing all such activities, and at the one point of time they become very sick and old and die. And similarly again take birth into this birth, next birth. But the real knowledge, the real science is that whenever we come on this earth, when the God has given us the human form, we should know ourselves actually. We should know the essence of our existence. The essence of our existence lies in knowing the God, lies in knowing the activities of the God, that how the God is performing the different activities. And this can be achieved only by chanting the mantra and by deep meditation only. So everybody got this point very clear? This is the essence of this chapter, that what we should know by Gyan Yoga. That is the knowledge actually. We should get this knowledge, that we should know the God. Is this clear to all? Please raise your hands. Or in the chat box also you can put yes. Okay, very good. So we are moving forward. This chapter is very complicated and very tough chapter, but you being the kids, only the essence and the important sloka has been given here so that you can make understand. If we go slok by slok, it will be very difficult for all of you to understand. So that is why the main essence of this chapter is given in this, is already covered by this sloka only. The entire chapter you can say is covered by this sloka. That one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world. He is liberated actually. He is going to the eternal abode, that is the supreme God. You know, these are the, many of you are very fond of looking their childhood photos and activities, doing some mischievous activities as well as doing some good activities also. These are all the activities of the what the Lord Krishna says in the previous sloka. That means those who knows the transcendental my appearance and activities. That means we should know their activities also. That is why it is called a Bal Lila. These are all activities of the Lord Krishna when he was the early childhood. Many of you recollect also all this. This is, you see, this is the Makhan Chor, we call it. That is why he was stealing the buttermilk or the butter from the container. Here also, he is just playing naughty game from with his mother actually, like that. So he was very naughty in the childhood, but the Mata Jashoda never actually used to scold him or give punishment. Even if she gives him punishment, she herself became very sad about that. So what we learned that Krishna is God, the supreme personality of Godhead. He is a person, that is the human form of the Krishna. He has a Shyam Sundar form, that means very beautiful form. You remember the 6 characteristics of the God? What we learned in, I think in the 2nd chapter, we learned that. Can anyone recite the 6 characteristics of the God here? Yes, you can put in the chat box. Fame, okay, beauty. It is not renovation, it is a renunciation. Okay, wealth. Education, not a knowledge. Yes, I think somebody is missing. Yeah, here I got the answer, all the 6. Good, very good. So it is the beauty, fame, strength, knowledge, renunciation. Also, these are all the 6 characteristics of the Lord Krishna. And richness, beauty, fame, rich, knowledge, wealth, and knowledge, strength, and the renunciation. Renunciation is more important because in spite of having all the things with the Lord Krishna, he always gave away. He has always the feeling of the sacrifice to give up. And one of the important characteristics of the Lord Krishna, that means you can always see the smile on his face. That means the Satta Chitta Ananda. Now somebody may ask that Lord Krishna has taken the human form and came on this earth. And what is the difference between the Lord Krishna and the humans? That means our being. So this is the difference between the Lord Krishna and the we being the ordinary human being. His form is permanent. That means in the original first sloka also we learned that my transcendental body do not get, I can put the sloka so that you can recollect it. What he says, yeah, you see, although I am unborn, my transcendental body never deteriorates. That means it becomes as it is, same, in the same form. It's never gets old and never gets young also. It remains the same actually. It is never with the age or with the time, even though it comes in the millennium after millennium. It's just taking the birth to show the people that what the form can be. But the original transcendental body is never get deteriorated. So this is the first, his form is permanent, our form is temporary, our body is temporary definitely. His body is spiritual, that means his both body and the soul is spiritual. Our body is material, that means it is made up of the different elements and things. There is no difference between his body and soul, because his body is never get deteriorated and the soul of course never get deteriorates. So there is no difference between the body and his soul of the Lord Krishna. But what is our body? Our body is material and our body is different from our soul, because soul is eternal, whereas our body is temporary and material. And last but not the least, this is also the main difference between the Lord Krishna and the human body. Krishna is the controller of Maya. And what is that Maya? That Maya is the 3 different forms of the material nature. We are controlled by Maya. That means the Sattvic gun, Rajogun, Tamogun, or the goodness, patience, and the bad qualities or demonic qualities. We are all controlled by this Maya. We are all controlled by the 3 forms of the material nature that we learned in the last chapter. That what are the 3 modes of the material nature? We are all controlled by this Maya. And who is controlling the Maya? Lord Krishna is controller of the Maya. Now, who will read this slok? Okay, Reet Agarwal. So, yeah, please, Chagan Prabhuji.
Actually,
Yes.
Shravani, Shravani in the chat, every time she is saying she want to read.
Oh, please. Sorry, Mataji. Please go ahead. You can
Shravani
read.
Mataji, you can read.
Shravani Mataji, please go
Yes,
ahead.
Prabhuji. ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तांस्तथैव भजाम्यहं ममावर्तमानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः.
You can read the meaning also. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Then one of the question of the after that hearing all this, that what about God, transcendental form and everything, Arjuna asked that how, suppose somebody comes to surrender to you, then how you reward them actually, what benefit they are getting. So the Lord Krishna replies that as all surrender unto me, if anyone surrender unto me with the total devotion, faith, and the dedication, then I reward them accordingly. Whatever is the form of his devotion to me, I in that form only I give back. So here you can see a cow is trying to touch the feet of the Lord Krishna. So the Lord Krishna also gives him a big hug to the cow and keeps him very close to his heart. Here also you can see the Balram was pressing the legs of the Lord Krishna. Similarly, the Lord Krishna also rewards in the same manner to the Balram also. Balram is just an extension of the Lord Krishna. Now who will read this slok? Ankush Pratap Singh, okay, you has raised your hand. Please unmute Ankush Pratap Singh. Chetan Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have unmuted. He has to mute actually.
Okay.
Seems he is not
Okay.
unmuting himself, Prabhuji.
Okay. No problem. Then who one else will go?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, am I audible?
Please. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji, you are audible.
Okay. Prabhuji, it's a request. Can you you just please scroll up after I read one line, because there is a pop-up message which is not going from my screen. So it's a humble request, please.
Okay.
Okay. Tat vidhi prarani patena pariprasenena
Is this okay?
Krishna, you have unmuted.
I think
Yes.
someone muted me. Am I audible right now?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible.
Upadekshyanti te jananam janine vastatva.
Okay, you can read this also.
Just try to learn the truth. It's not getting out.
Okay. Okay, I'm reading
I'm
that.
so sorry.
Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. So the next question of the Arjuna was how to get this knowledge, from where to get all this knowledge which you are giving me. That is the Gyan Yoga, the knowledge of yoga, knowledge, yoga of knowledge. So the Lord Krishna replies that you should learn the truth. That means you should get the actual knowledge by approaching the spiritual master. Now he says that who is the spiritual master? Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart the knowledge. That means this is the definition of the spiritual master. That means the self-realized soul. That means the soul which has realized the God either in of the three form, that is in the light form or the Vishnu form or the human form, can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Yeah, he is making it very clear because he has seen the truth. What is the truth? The truth is the soul, Atma. That means he has seen that truth in the form of light or the Vishnu form or the human incarnation form. And what are the qualities of the student, that is also been made here. Inquire from him submissively. First you have to surrender in front of the Lord, in front of the teacher, that okay, I want to get this type of knowledge, please impart me that knowledge. Then you have to serve your mentor or the guru or the teacher also, that okay, I will serve you because you have to impart me that knowledge, and the service unto, render the service unto him. And also the another characteristic, that means you should form inquire. That means you should ask the questions. As the Arjun was asking the different questions, when the Lord Krishna was imparting the knowledge to the Lord Arjuna, whatever the Arjuna was understanding is okay. Wherever he has the confusion or the doubt, immediately he raised all the different questions to the Lord Krishna. And that is why the Bhagavad Gita came into place, because of his question. So we should be very much thankful to the Arjuna also, that he has asked all such questions, which also comes up in our mind. So these are the three qualities. First, he has to surrender in front of the teacher. He has to serve his teacher, and he has to ask with a curiosity about the knowledge. These are the three qualities of the student. And the qualities of the teacher is that he should have seen the truth. That means he has realized the truth. Then only he is truly authorized to impart the knowledge. Here you can see the Prabhupada is one such teacher who has imparted all this knowledge to us, and he is rightly inscribed in the Bhagavad Gita as it is. Now this is the homework for you. You can draw the pictures of the Lord in your book or in your diary or different things. This is one of the very popular picture of the Lord Krishna. That is why he is called a Makhan Chor. You can see a lot of picture with the butter, Makhan Chor picture. So these are all pictures you can do. So what is the essence of this chapter? That is the Gyan Yoga. That what knowledge we have got from this, that our purpose or our essence of our existence is to know the God. That who is God? Who is God? Krishna is God. He is a person that is in the human form, and he has a Shyam Sundar form. I saw you that beautiful picture of the Lord Krishna. He has a peacock feather on his hand, head, and a flute in his hand. That means peacock feather and the flute in his hand. You can see over here. So we should know the God, and we should understand the activities of the God. That is the true knowledge actually which we are getting from this chapter. Now who will read this?
Prabhuji, Shaurya Agrawal will read.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You are,
Prabhuji, please
you
go.
are not audible, Shaurya Agrawal. Prabhu, you are not audible.
Hello?
We are unable to hear you. Hare Krishna, Shaurya Agrawal, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes, you can continue.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji. So it is exactly 7:30 now. So we have completed the slides presentation and all. Now we will take up the question answer session. Chetan Prabhuji, can you manage the question answers?
Yes, Prabhuji, in chat, 2 questions are being raised, Prabhuji. I will read first. Yesterday
Yes.
also, same
Okay.
question was, wait, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. Okay. Please.
One Aradhya Mataji is asking, a mother gives birth to a child, so how the soul can get in the baby, and if we take the next birth, so can I remember the previous birth? Last day, previous day also she asked the same question, Prabhuji.
Okay.
This is the doubt, and another doubt.
Okay, first part of your question, that a child is born in the womb of a mother, takes place from the womb of a mother, then how the soul enters into that womb. Let me give you a very simple example. When you are putting your mobile onto the charge, can you see the electricity is going into the mobile phone? Yes, Mataji, who has asked this question? Please unmute that person.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Sir,
So
I
my
have asked the question.
yes. Okay. Thank you. Very good question. That the child takes birth from the womb of a mother, then how the soul enters into the womb. Very good. So now let me give you an example. Suppose if you are putting your mobile onto the charge by plugging the plug into the source and then connecting the cable with the mobile, and then the electricity goes from the source point to the into your mobile, and it is showing that it is getting charged. So in this entire process, and your after some time your mobile gets charged. Similarly, the child remains in the womb of the mother for about 9 months. And after 9 months that particular child takes place, just like the mobile takes some time to get it charged, and after this charge it shows 100%, and you take the battery connection out. Have you seen in this entire process how electricity is going into the mobile phone?
No, I have not seen electricity
You
going
have
in.
not seen? The same thing is
No.
with the soul. Actually, the soul is such a thing that we cannot see that, because we are covered by the Maya. So how can one see the soul? Those who have attained that particular highest level of the spirituality, then only it can be seen. In here also we have seen one of the qualities of the Guru. That means he has realized the truth. That means what is the realization? That means he has seen the truth in the form of the light or Vishnu form or the human form. But we cannot see that, just like we cannot see that electricity. So same thing applies to the soul also. If you have got that much power to see the soul, then only you will be able to see the soul. Otherwise the soul is not invisible, soul is not visible to everyone. Are you getting?
One more doubt.
Okay, thank you.
That Lord Krishna was unborn. So who killed and how he got killed?
Lord Krishna is unborn in the sense that he himself is a transcendental body of the soul actually. When he comes on this earth of millennium into millennium every, he takes the human form. And whenever he takes the human form, he has to get out of this world also during the course of the time. So it is one of the reasons that somebody um, bow and arrow with a arrow in his feet, and he by the poison that arrow he got killed, and he went away from this earth, because his work, whatever for the purpose he came on this earth, the purpose was over, so he went away. So it is a symbolic meaning of the coming and going from this earth, from this world. It is the avatar actually. It is, as we seen from time to time, Vishnu avatar, Ram avatar, Krishna avatar, like that. So when he comes in the form of the human on this earth, it has to go also.
Okay, Prabhuji. I am
Okay, thank
not
you.
a girl. I am a boy.
Okay, okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Next
Prabhuji,
question.
Reet Agrawal, it seems she wants to ask some question. Reet Agrawal Mataji, please unmute yourself. Reet Agrawal Mataji.
Yes,
Yes.
I wanted to ask that when you told that the Krishna's body is same as his soul and our body is different from our soul. So one question in my mind, that is our soul also permanent or our soul is temporary?
Our body is temporary. Our soul is permanent.
Okay,
You
thank you.
can see in this slide. I am opening it again. Yeah. You see, our body is material and our body is different from soul. Our form is temporary. What is the form? Form is the body. Here nowhere it is written that the soul is temporary. Soul is permanent always.
And Krishna's body also stays same. We leave our body someday or another, but Krishna
Yes.
never leaves his body. Krishna's body is always same.
He just disappears from this earth. Whenever he takes the form of the human form on this earth, in the incarnation of the form, he just disappears either by one reason or the other. Nobody knows where it is gone actually. So that is why it is called a spiritual body and the spiritual soul.
Okay.
Thank you.
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Is
Please go
there
ahead.
any pupil after Srila Prabhupada?
After Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Yes, there were the persons. It is from time to time that is the teacher disciple is going on. Prabhupada was there, Srila Prabhupada, and after that also.
Okay.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, how can we accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
How can we?
How can we accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
How can we accept?
Accept. She's asking, Prabhu. Mataji is asking, how can we accept?
Yes, of course. He is a supreme personality. That is the essence of the Gita actually. That what is the ultimate superior, supreme? That is the Lord Krishna himself. That's what he has said from his own mouth actually. In the subsequent chapter also, we can see in the chapter 8 and 9 and 10, talking about the powers of the strengths of the Lord Krishna, that he is the ultimate, he is the supreme, he is the superpower actually. That is why we have to accept. And when the Lord Krishna himself speaks from his mouth, how can it be a lie also? And we have seen his power also. That is why we have to accept him as the supreme power. When somebody tells and explains you that I am the supreme power, we should accept him. Just like the Arjuna also accepted him as the supreme power. At the end of the 18th chapter, when you can see that Arjuna himself say that, okay, I understood everything. I accept you as a supreme power, and I will do whatever you say. So in front of the Arjuna, yes.
Prabhuji, I have a doubt.
Please go ahead.
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, I didn't still get the PDFs.
Where did the?
Prabhuji, still I didn't get the PDFs.
Oh, PDFs, okay. Chetan Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, actually, I have sent first day. Okay, once again, I will send in the group. Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I want to chant the pranam mantra.
Prabhuji.
Okay.
Okay.
Prabhuji, I have a doubt.
Prabhuji, I have a doubt.
Yes, one by one.
Prabhuji, I want to chant the pranam mantra.
Okay, in the end, I will tell you to chant the pranam mantra also.
Prabhuji, I have another doubt, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a doubt.
Please go ahead or put in your chat box. Chetan Prabhuji will take care of that because you all of you are speaking together.
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, I have allowed them to unmute. I thought that one by one they will ask. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I have doubt.
Okay, Mataji,
Yes,
you can ask.
Prabhuji, are you
Yes.
hearing? Prabhuji,
Yes.
I am have. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
Prabhuji, we must tell 108 times to Hare Krishna daily. That is must to tell Hare Krishna to every day.
Yes. Yes, of course. You should chant Hare Krishna mantra at least one japamala. That means 108 times. And I will be happy if you can do more of that. But at least one time is I would make it a mandatory for all. Start chanting that. If those who are doing more than one time, that is all good. But those who are not doing anything, please chant at least one time.
Per day we have to tell 108 times. That is
Anytime, whatever suits to you. Anytime, whatever suits to you.
Okay, Prabhuji. Actually, what is the use of telling that Hare Krishna? Anything we get? Please describe, explain about what is if we tell 108 times Hare Krishna, we can get more spiritual from Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna, Prabhuji.
No, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is very much compulsory in the Kali Yuga. That is what we learned in the earlier chapters also. That it is the only way to attain the God. And in this chapter also, what we learned that to know about the God, to know about their activities is the only way to attain the spirituality way and to attain the God, supreme abode, supreme home of the God. and to come out of this bondage. So chanting the mantra is a must. And it is the only way. In our earlier chapter also, this was a slide also, that in Kali Yuga, chanting the mantra is the only option you have.
So
Without
we
that,
should we
yes.
should tell that mantra in front of God, or wherever we can go to without God photo, we can tell. Can we tell that mantra?
Suppose you are new to the mantra, then I would advise that in front of the God you chant mantra, because that will keep you focused on the God. All the doubts from the outside world will not come into your mind, and you will remain focused on the God. But after that, once you develop the practice of chanting the mantra and you remain focused with that only, there is no need to keep any photo also in front of you. You can chant it anyway, just with your closed eyes. You can chant it Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Even I saw in the earlier chapter, we have seen some slides also. While walking on the road also, suppose from home you are going to the school, you can chant that mantra. There is no hard and fast rule that you should keep a photo of the Lord Krishna in front of you. It is for the initial purpose. Those who are the beginnings, just to focus his mind. That in spite of the chat, those who are beginners, in spite of chatting, some different thoughts is coming in his mind and is not focused on the God. So to remain focused on the God, we keep the photo. Otherwise, it is not mandatory.
So when we go outside, we can't tell that mantra, right? Right,
You
Prabhuji?
can just inside you can definitely chant inside your mind. There is no need to speak it loudly also.
Yeah,
There
that's
is
why
no
I
need
am.
to keep there is no need to speak aloud actually.
Actually, whenever we go to outside for walking, I tell this mantra in my inner self, so that that is that's why I want to clarify this doubt. So we can't tell loudly. Okay, Prabhuji, understood, Prabhuji.
Yeah, the main
Thank you so
essence
much.
of the chanting of the mantra is that you should always think about the God. But that's all. The thought process of the mind, God is always should be in your mind by chanting that
Yeah.
mantra. This is the essence of chanting the mantra.
Yes. Yeah, understood.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mataji. One more last question.
Whom I should take care? You tell. Because several hands are still been raised.
Oh, it's already 7:45.
Okay, Virat Vardhan Prabhu. Are you there,
Okay.
Prabhu?
Yes, Virat
Hare
Prabhuji, please
Krishna.
go ahead.
Virat Vardhan Prabhu. It seems is not there.
Okay, anyone else?
Anyone?
Last question.
Wait, Prabhuji. In the chat, someone is asking question. Samyukta. Okay, Samyukta. Wait. Samyukta Mataji, you can unmute yourself and ask doubt.
Sir, so my doubt is, how did Krishna become blue color?
How we can?
How the Krishna has become in blue color? This is the doubt, Prabhuji.
Okay. Very good question, actually. I will be happy to answer this question. You know, actually, the Krishna has got no color. It is colorless body, but people have depicted it as someone is blue color, someone is little blackish color, someone little brownish color, or like that. Your question is regarding the blue color. You know why sky is looking blue?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So the blue color of the Krishna is the depiction of the sky actually. Is so endless, so big, with so much qualities and all everything, that it is so big that we cannot see that particular Lord Krishna. And the sky is blue, that it is a symbol of that particular thing, that Lord Krishna is also as good as sky. And how this sky, sky is blue color. And the color of the water is also sometimes seems blue,
Doubts వస్తున్నాయి.
Actually, the water is also colorless. But when the reflection of that sky's blue color is falls on the water, we take the water as of blue color. So both the sky and the blue, the sky and the ocean or the river or the water body seems as of blue color. So this is, and the ocean is also endless. It's so deep that no one can measure the depth of the ocean. And similarly, the sky also is so big that no one can measure the size. This is the size of the sky. No one can measure sky, and no one can measure the depth of the ocean or the sea. So the Lord Krishna is a depiction of the, he's so big, so deep that no one can measure it. That is why it is called a blue color.
Prabhuji, I will mute all, and again you just unmute because some disturbance is coming on from backside.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, now you can unmute.
Okay. So you got the answer actually, that why the Lord Krishna is depicted blue in color. Is that clear, or should I repeat that?
Yes, Prabhuji, it is clear. And I have one more doubt.
Okay.
That now
Okay.
Krishna is stealing butter from his own house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that not right?
Do you think that it is right or wrong? Tell me.
I don't
As a
think so
child,
it is right.
when you were, it is right. Okay. That is your thinking actually. You know, during that point of time when the Lord Krishna was stealing the butter, what he was doing, he was stealing the butter and distributing to his friends. So simultaneously he was doing the good activities also. Why don't you notice that good activity, that he is stealing the butter for his friends actually? He's not stealing the butter for himself. So that is our fault actually. We see some different thing, but actually the intention of the doer may be something different. So that is why we call it a right or wrong. The Lord Krishna was definitely correct at that point of time. He was stealing the butter for his friends actually and distributing it among his friends also. So that is the right thing. Don't you think that is the right thing?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, so this is the way. Our way of thinking, we should change. We should always look for the positive side whenever we see something wrong. Because in some wrong also, some good is also hidden inside. And we should focus on that good things.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, so shall we conclude? Somebody was talking about pranam prathana or something like that. So he can go ahead with that if he is there. Who was telling that? I think he has left. Okay. Yeah. Akshay has replied. Please unmute Akshay, Prabhuji. Pranam mantra. Yes, he want to chant pranam mantra. Chetan Prabhuji, are you there?
I am there, Prabhuji. I
Hare
am
Krishna, Prabhuji.
unmuted. Akshay.
Okay.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Akshay
chant the
Prabhuji,
pranam
please go
mantra.
ahead. Pranam mantra.
Om Timirandasya Jananasya Shalakya Chakshur Unmilitanam Dashma Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manavishnu Stapitam Bhutale Srayam Rupaya Kadamantriya Datiye Sambantigam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namadevi Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachadini Nirvisheshaya Sunyavadi Bashada Desha Tarini Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gaya Shivasati Gaur Bhakti Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna everyone. So Chetan Prabhuji, can we conclude?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna to everyone. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Mataji, Hare Krishna Chetan Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavad.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.